Hello, my name is Allison Floyd, and this is an example of an instructional presentation on database research that I would give to first semester Masters of Public Administration students. Public administration examines a wide variety of topics. For example, it looks at pieces of economics, sociology, parts of law, anthropology theories, political science ideas, and aspects of regional planning. All of these come together to look at various specific parts of public administration. Public administration looks at some very specific areas like the management of nonprofits, program implementation, implementation of government policy, strategic planning, and the understanding of local, state, and federal government. Areas like this will give you as master's students a variety of topics to think about and research. For example, you might be given a research topic like this one. Write a research paper examining the relationship between state and local government in California. Let's look at 3 different databases that can help you examine this topic, as well as help you overall in your general master's program. The first database we'll look at is PAIS International, or Public Affairs Information Services. This database abstracts more than 625,000 items, including journal articles, books, government documents, conference reports, publications of international agencies, and statistical directories. The material is updated monthly and backdates from 1972 to the present day. PAIS covers the major social sciences. The ones that will be useful in a Master's of Public Administration program include Administration of Justice, Banking and Finance, Education, Government, Human Rights, International Relations, Law and Ethics, Politics, Population and Demographics, and Social Conditions. Let's try just a basic search in our PAIS International database. Let's start with California State and Local Government. This is a pretty broad search term, and we expect a lot of results from that. And we have 445 hits. That's too many to try and look through one by one, so let's restrict it in other ways. Right now, we have journal articles and books and whatever from the last 40 years. Let's restrict it to only the last 10. However, we can also restrict it by source type, publication title, document type, subject, and language. This first restriction will bring us from 445 results to 264. However, that's still quite a few to go through, and we don't really know where all of these results came from. So let's only take it down to scholarly journals. 187 results is still better than 264 and still better than 445, but it's a lot to go through. Using these suggested subjects will help us link directly to articles that look exactly at what we're trying to find. We can also search within our 187 results, and we can also look at related figures and tables. Something to know about this database is that it includes both full-text PDFs and the ability to request articles from interlibrary loan. We can also look at specific articles, like this one, Local Government Revenue Forecasting, the California County Experience, to take us to other articles that will be useful for our research topic. In this one, we have both HTML full text and full text PDF, and an abstract or a summary of what the article tells us. By looking at the indexing details, we can learn more about what the article is about before reading it. For example, we have the publication title, the different keywords, and the subjects. These subjects are important as they are very specific to what exactly we're looking at. For example, local government, United States, California. If we click on this link, it will take us directly to the journal articles that have been assigned that topic. And now we only have 29 results to look through. The publication dates for these span almost 30 years, but even still, we can go through them and find what's more useful, and we can also look at what the older publications are to find something that's good for us. For example, here's a paper called Deep Roots Local Government Structure in California, or local government autonomy and fiscal stress, the case of California counties. It's important to note that most of these here have that Get It button, allowing you to request this from ILL. The second database we're going to look at is Social Sciences Full Text by H.W. Wilson. This is a full-text database for 330 scholarly journals, and it's also an abstract database for 750 periodicals, 670 of which are peer-reviewed, and many of them have full texts included as well. This database is updated daily. Social sciences full text include major topics of interest like communications, economics, international relations, law, political science, urban studies, and planning and public administration. This database is much like PAIS International, but it has a greater emphasis on the social sciences. This is a good time to talk about Boolean searching, or using and, or not to define our searches. Using these terms helps us restrict our results more quickly than using those tools that I showed you earlier, like restricting the publishing date, the language, or the type of results. For example, we can look for a black and white cat and get a picture that is a cat both black and white. If we were to search for a black or white cat, we would get results of both black cats and white cats. However, if we were to search for black, not white cat, we would only get results of black cats. It's important to keep this in mind when using databases to do research. Let's try a search in social sciences full text, keeping in mind our topic of comparing local and state government in California. Let's also remember what we just learned about Boolean searches, and, or not. If we were to start with only searching California, we come up with many results because we haven't linked it to anything. In fact, we come up with over 17,000 results just for California. If we were to search county government, we come up with 541 results. We should notice that these results aren't restricted to any particular geographical area. We have Miami-Dade County in Florida. We have a county in Pennsylvania, and we have Cook County, Illinois. We need to link our search terms of California and county government together so that we only come up with results that talk about those two things in conjunction. We want to make sure that we use and as our Boolean search term, because if we were to search California or county government, or California and not county government, our results would be much more different. This time we only have 63 results. We have some good ones. Representation and local policy, relating county-level public opinion to policy outputs. Or the development of counties as municipal governments, a case study of the Los Angeles County in the 21st century. This looks like a really good source, as well as the past 50 years of local government in California provides examples for all. We would want to look at the abstracts for each of these, but even just by looking at the titles of the journals they're published in, we can learn a lot about them. Some of these have full text, while others you have to look for in your local library. For example, this one we don't have an electronic holding of in the Pratt library that I'm using as an example, but it is possible to request this from interlibrary loan. The third resource we are going to look at is the Public Policy Institute of California, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan think tank that examines public policy solely in California. We're looking at this one because of the nature of our research question. However, there are other public policy institutes around the country that pertain to specific state public policy as well as national public policy. The PPIC doesn't take positions on legislation, candidates, or ballot measures, or offer recommendations on specific pieces of legislation. What they do is offer guidance and recommendations on general public policy. They function primarily on endowment, but they also ask for gifts from private donors. The PPIC looks at 10 different policy areas, including climate change, corrections, economy, governance reform, health and human services, higher ed, K-12 education, the political landscape, the population, and the water of California. The research resources available to us through the PPIC include publications by research fellows, the Data Depot, maps, both static and interactive, statewide survey interactive tools, and other online resources provided through outside researchers. They also include links to their research seminar series and their Affordable Care Act research. This is the PPIC website, and as you can see, it doesn't look exactly like the other two databases that we've looked at previously, but it does have two key areas we want to pay attention to, policy areas and research resources. Let's look at the policy areas first. PPIC, as you recall, divides their research into 10 different areas, and these different areas will be applicable to your research and reading at different times. Right now, let's look at political landscape as it pertains most to our research question. This page aggregates all of the research that PPIC has done on the political landscape in California. It gives you key statistics like voter turnout, election trends, and voter attitudes, and different publications that have been written by PPIC fellows that have to do with political landscape in California. Let's look at a piece on California's political geography. You can share this via email or you can print it out as a PDF. It tells you who the authors are, and it shares with you other publications that have to do with this topic of political geography. This paper is well written and well cited, which will make it useful to you. It also shares with you different statistics, different maps, and different infographics. These will be key in understanding what the paper talks about. Let's now look at the research resources of the PPIC. This is where we find the Data Depot, the Map Room, and the Statewide Survey interactive tools. Here you can access different data sets, which will be very, very useful in conducting social research. These are the tools in the Statewide Survey interactive tools page. Here you can create your own crosstabs based on statewide survey data, and you can search the survey questions using keywords, date ranges, and you can sort it in order. Right now, let's just search for county. And what we find is that there is a question that directly relates to our research question. This is very useful because now what we see is that this question is asked consistently over the course of a year. We see that it was asked in September of 2012 and then working backwards over the previous 9 months. By examining the different dates that this question was asked, we can view the results of each survey question and see how attitudes have changed. By searching county, we also brought up other questions that have to do with the difference between state and county services. These questions will also be useful in your research. Today we looked at 3 different resources that can help you with your research during your time in your Masters of Public Administration program. We looked at 2 general subject databases, PAIS International and Social Sciences Full Text. We looked at a subject-specific resource, the PPIC website. We looked at how using a basic search isn't necessarily the best way to do a search. Instead, we want to use the tools that the databases give us to narrow our results. We also looked at how using Boolean search takes us to better results more quickly. We also looked at how using subject-specific resources like the PPIC website can bring us to data sets that will be useful in performing analysis in research. I hope this was instructive for you, and I look forward to helping you in the future.